had My Little Pony. Friendship is magical.
Okay.
Not magical, it's magic.
Same thing. We'll have my little sister joining during
Okay.
the
Okay.
thing.
Oh my God, she's loud.
Welcome back to Cinema First Podcast, episode 5. Okay, welcome back to Cinema First, episode 5. This week we're going to be looking at our picks for the best movies of the past decade. As I was making my list, I found that this is so far the hardest list I've had to make, just because there's so much criteria that I could go off of and so many movies that I could pick overall. So I'll show you guys the overall list I had when it comes to movies that I was considering. I think Hamza's joining us. Hamza's here. All right. Now, this is one of the harder ones that I did have to choose. And I forced us to choose 2 to 3 movies, I guess. I think Hamza gave me about 10, and I dwindled it down because there was a good amount of overlap. It was as I was going through all the movies, it's a great decade in film. Go ahead, Hamza, Andrew, Nigel, Billy, and me. We'll go ahead, and before we start, I want to ask, how did you guys come up with your films? I'll start off with just my process. The way that I did it was I broke it up into years, just 2011, 12, and I just, whichever movies came up first in my mind, I put them down, and then I took the top movies that got me down to 10, and from there I just chose which were my favorite. Did you guys have any specific process that you used to come up with your movies, or you just first movies that came off the top of your head?
That sort of like,
because I don't watch movies, so that's what I did.
Yeah, I kind of was like, the ones that I can remember, they must have been good, right? So that kind of worked for me. I was like, I really remember watching that I enjoyed, so that worked for me.
To me, it was hard to remember, so I had to like look up a list of movies, and I just went based on what I watched and what I liked the most. As simple as that.
Yeah.
For me, I just thought of all the movies that I liked. I checked if they were in 2010s, and just the first ones that came into my mind, that's the ones that I sent to you.
And to be honest, Yabo, you telling us to stay away from 2019 is difficult.
It was.
I found a lot of good 2019
Exactly.
movies.
I really want to do a separate video just for 2019 because of all the years, that's one of the stronger ones in the 2010s. For now, this is our list for our favorite movies. I wanted to get 2 each. I had another one that I had to take out of best because enough people didn't see it, which is The Wolf of Wall Street, and mine ended up with 3. And Nigel, he also has 3. The others, a lot of your movies also are in the best list, so we'll be ranking them later on. I'll go ahead. I'm pretty sure you guys can see my screen. We're just going to talk about this for a few minutes, and we'll move on. Well, this will be a separate episode. We'll be talking about our favorites, and then next episode we'll be talking about the best, and we'll do our normal rankings in the bracket style ranking of our best movies of the 2010s. I guess I'll start off with Andrew, since your name starts with an A. You chose Rampage and Real Steel. Go ahead. Why those two? What stood out?
Why are they my favorite? Well, Rampage. It was good. And I liked it. Yeah.
Go ahead.
And I mean, Real Steel, it touched my heart. It did something for me. I feel like I could relate to the characters in that movie.
Mm-hmm. How many movies did The Rock have in this decade? I feel like he made a movie 2 movies every year in this decade. And
Maybe even more, to be honest.
Yeah. One of his best movies, I think, is Central Intelligence.
I watched that movie actually on accident, or like not on accident, but I went to the movie theater and the movie that we wanted to see was sold out. Forgot which movie it was, so we watched Central Intelligence instead, and that was a great movie.
From all the Rock movies, I would say my favorite of all the Rock movies, just my favorite, not even this decade, is Journey to the Mysterious Island. Watched that at a really young age. I have a strong connection to that movie.
Yeah, I remember that movie. That was good.
Was that the one where he was popping off his pecs?
Yeah, he was popping berries off his pecs.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah,
It's just The Rock has turned your brain off movies that I wouldn't say I don't like them, but of course they're fun, but they're not at favorite level for me. They're definitely, I'll watch them once, I'll have a good time watching them, but I'll more than likely won't go back to watch them again. And it's just what another YouTuber coined, just a Taco Bell movie, where you turn your brain off, you sit down, you eat it once, or you watch it once, and you know it's bad for you, but you enjoy it at the time, and you never go back to it, or you go back to it rarely.
I don't know. I go to Taco Bell pretty often.
I have
Taco
never
Bell's
been to
pretty
Taco
good.
Bell.
Well,
I've
see,
Now
eaten
they've got
Taco Bell
a good Dorito taco that I like.
You can't use the term Taco Bell and you've never been there. That's not.
Oh
Yeah.
no, it
not how it
wasn't
works.
coined by me. It was
Yeah, but
coined
you
by another
just
YouTuber.
used it though. See
Mhm.
what you used it. It's
I
not.
agree with you.
You can't. It can't come from the heart since you've never. You've never experienced Taco Bell.
I'm just going off of the definition that YouTuber he gave.
Maybe like a McDonald's experience.
Okay,
But like
that makes more sense.
No,
I guess.
but
It's
McDonald's
probably
makes you want to go.
better.
McDonald's makes you want to go more than one. We need a bad
Mhm.
restaurant. Maybe like a Golden Corral. Like it's good to go and go with friends and stuff.
Yeah,
But
that's
like
the
Yeah,
Golden
that's a
kinda
Corral.
good
weird
one. That's
to
a
me.
good one. Yeah,
Yeah.
The Rock makes Golden Corral movies. And
Yes.
Yes, that works.
Yes.
Real Steel, I agree with you. Real Steel, it's probably just because I saw it at a extremely young. Like I think I was like 7 or 8 when I watched it. It touched my heart, just like you said.
Yeah, Real Steel is beautiful.
It's a beautiful movie.
Yeah, I like it too.
You watched it? Weren't you hating on it earlier in the year?
Yeah, I was joking. Yeah, I was joking there.
Call it the worst movie of all time.
No, the
Nah.
worst movie of all time is obviously Thor Ragnarok. How we all knew that.
Also, I kind of like that we strayed away from any big franchises in this. We're gonna move on. We're gonna skip Billy because both of his movies are in our rankings. So we're gonna leave that for the next episode. For now, let's go over to Hamza, The Hateful Eight and Blade Runner 2049.
So I know this is a very unpopular opinion, but I think Hateful Eight is either Tarantino's second best or third best movie.
I agree.
I don't know.
I
It just
on the
really has
opposite of
this
the
appeal.
spectrum.
I've only seen one, and I agree.
You've only seen one Tarantino movie.
I think so.
You've seen Inglourious Bastards.
Oh yeah,
I've
you
seen
did see
two. I've seen two.
I was surprised you haven't seen Django Unchained though.
It's on my list. It's on my list.
I'm pretty sure if you just search it up on YouTube, it's just sitting there, and it's on Netflix.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for me, this movie, the more and more time that it's been since I've watched it, it becomes less and less. It's worse. It seems worse and worse to me. I
Really?
saw it on a very high level at first.
Hold up. You gotta give Hamza time to explain why he chose his movies. You can't just hate on it instantly.
That's the point of this podcast. We're here to just discuss the movies. It doesn't matter what your opinions are. I said it. Most of us are probably not going to agree with everything.
You got
I'm
to
gonna
let
say
him
it right now.
explain
I
it
don't
first.
respect everyone's opinion.
Wait, what did you say?
What? What'd you say?
I said I don't respect everyone's opinion.
Okay, just let him talk. We didn't hear what he had to say.
Yeah. Go ahead, Hamza.
So as I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted. Hateful Eight, I'd say is like a tie between Hateful Eight, Django, and Glorious Bastards and Pulp Fiction for me for the best Tarantino movie. And what's Andrew still laughing about?
It's not him.
That's Miss Andrew's sister.
Oh. So yeah, Hateful Eight. I've watched this movie, even though it's like 10 hours long. I've watched this movie like 3 times, maybe 4. And each time I've enjoyed it like the same amount, which is kind of ridiculous to be honest.
It does kind of seem ridiculous to me because I've wanted, at first I wanted to go back and rewatch it pretty quickly, but maybe it's just because I haven't seen it in when was it that you recommended this to me? Like 6 months ago. Now I'm kind of I'm kind of dreading going back to watch the extended version, which usually I'm pretty happy to go back and watch the extended version of any movie. But I don't know, maybe my mind will change after I watch it. I plan on watching it sometime in the next few weeks. You'll probably see whatever I do think about that in the all of the movies I saw in the summer video that I'll make at the end of the summer. But
oh yeah, have you been watching the movies I recommended to you?
I watch everything you recommend. What have you recommended to me lately?
All the black and white ones.
Oh, the black and white ones. I'm just finishing up my Jake Gyllenhaal and Dennis Villeneuve binge.
Mm-hmm.
I'll talk a bit more about that in a second.
That's how you say his
after that.
name?
Who?
I thought it was Gyllenhaal.
No,
yeah,
I'm pretty sure
I thought it was
Gyllenhaal. Well, I'll talk a bit more about it. How about Blade Runner 2049?
All right.
I haven't seen this.
I really liked the first Blade Runner, right? Although it has its flaws, even this one has its flaws, pretty big flaws. But the vibe of the movie is just indescribable and is probably the best kind of vibe.
It's a pretty good movie, yeah. Pretty good.
The cinematography is probably the best that I've seen in a movie also.
I had to watch it for my film project. I made my Ridley Scott. So,
Ridley Scott made 2040.
Not 2049.
No, I thought
no,
yeah, the first
one.
Yeah, I knew that. This is also Villeneuve, right?
Yes.
I don't know.
If I had to pick best director of the decade, I would definitely have to go with Villeneuve. Just because of I realized how many good movies he made. He has, I'm pretty sure Blade Runner 2049, Sicario, I don't think Enemy, maybe not Nightcrawler. I think somebody else directed Nightcrawler, but I just connect Gyllenhaal and Villanueva together nowadays, so he might not have done that. Enciendas, which is one of my favorite foreign films of the year.
You say your favorite what? What?
Foreign
films of the decade.
I heard something else.
Oh, you bad man. Villeneuve has done a pretty great job over the past decade. Going on to Nigel, you picked Daddy's Home, Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, and Kingsman: The Golden Circle.
Wait, before we move on, how many of y'all have seen Sicario?
I have.
I thought a lot of people didn't like that movie for some reason.
I'll get any thoughts you have. I'm gonna talk about it a little bit more when we get to the best. Well, I'll bring it up because I want to make a point about Mad Max Fury Road when it comes to and comparing it with that movie. But for now,
what's Sicario?
Sicario, the movie about drug cartels and a woman FBI agent and stuff.
It was a good movie.
Didn't they say what Sicario meant? I don't remember, but yeah.
That's the first other Josh Brolin movie I've seen.
Oh, go watch No Country for Old Men. Go watch No Country for Old Men.
Oh yeah. If you like Sicario, I think you'd like that too.
And probably you haven't seen Goonies.
No. The Goonies.
The Goonies. It's not a good. I don't count it as a good movie, but it's
that's the best movie.
Entertaining. I find it entertaining.
maybe you have to like watch it when you're younger, because maybe like watching it now
Probably.
a little bit.
Prisoners.
Wait, but I'm still confused. Why does No Country for Old Men relate to the Goonies?
What'd you say?
Why does No Country for Old Men relate to the Goonies?
Josh Brolin. Josh Brolin is in both.
I don't know who that is, but okay.
Oh,
Thanos, man.
Oh, that's Thanos?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Thanos.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He was in the
Prisoners.
Goonies.
Prisoners is the
Was he the
other
older
one.
guy?
There we go.
The older, was he the brother?
I think so.
Was it the dude from Deadpool 2 in
Yeah.
Goonies?
Mm-hmm.
That's Josh Brolin. Okay.
That's him. Oh, oh,
Yeah.
oh.
Surprised me
Back to Nigel. Daddy's Home. I kind of see a resemblance between all of your movies, just comedy-wise. Daddy's Home, Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, and Kingsman: The Golden Circle. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think comedy can be really cool. And then they're pretty, I mean, different in terms. Daddy's Home is really more like a kind of comedy. Comedy. It's not. I mean, it does have some action, I guess, motorcycles and stuff maybe, but it's funny. I remember. I think we watched it like on a bus ride or something. They played it, and then I rewatched the first. I've seen the first one a few times, and I've seen the second one too. But I think I really remember probably the first one. It's just really funny, and it's like you kind of you feel for the characters and stuff, and it's like that. What's that? When you're kind of like almost aggravated, you want something to really happen, and it just kind of like it doesn't happen for a while, so it kind of they really lead you on it. It's kind of cool. But yeah.
Miss Woods to turn her lights on.
What?
I said I was. Never mind. Just keep going. Just keep going.
Bungie. I guess I was thinking kind of like a action comedy, but like I really like the whole like jungle and stuff. But then what you said earlier, the journey to the center of the mysterious island. I remember watching that movie in the theater.
You just mixed up both two times. I think it has a prequel too. That's called Journey to the Center of the Earth, and then there's Mysterious Island. You mixed up both of the titles.
Okay, did I
About
mention Journey to the Mysterious Island with The Rock?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. That one was a 2012, I think, and that one was really good. And they're kind of like it's a little bit similar to Jumanji in that kind of whole just island with this crazy stuff going on. So that was cool. Journey to the Center of the Earth. I remember watching that movie. That movie, I checked it. It was 2008, so that wouldn't have been one. But I remember I saw that movie a couple times when I was a kid, like really little, and that was cool with having like dinosaurs, and it just gets crazy. Sort of how Jumanji and Journey to the Mysterious Island gets crazy. It's like it slowly gets crazy, but in a cool way, and it's just like wow, and it does that where it doesn't even have to try to be realistic because it's all like a game or a mysterious island or whatever. So that's why it's kind of that's the cool thing about it. It's just they can make it as crazy as they want, and it still
Yeah, it's a very fun movie.
yeah.
A Golden Corral movie. Now, what was your last? I was very surprised that you put Kingsman: The Golden Circle rather than the original.
Rather than the original, yeah, I don't remember the original a whole bunch, but I remember seeing Kingsman: The Golden Circle in a movie theater with some friends, and it was a cool movie, with the action and stuff. And then there was a movie that reminded me of it recently, The Gentleman. It was a movie that just came out pretty recently, but I think that's a 2019 film, so couldn't have that one on. So Kingsman, kind of maybe in place of that one, but Kingsman it was an action comedy, so that was cool. When you combine like action and comedy, if you have it done right, it can be pretty entertaining.
Which one's better?
Which one's better? Oh,
Yeah.
Kingsman or The Gentleman?
No, the
Oh,
first, the original Kingsman or the second one?
I would say the original.
Yeah, I think you guys like when we did a pairing of them before, and you guys like the original more. I mean, I
I
don't
haven't
know.
watched. I haven't watched the second one.
Yeah, I like the second one. It was good. I don't remember the first one a whole lot though, so that's why.
The
Yeah.
second one is just a bit more nonsensical, and the editing just isn't as original as it was in the first movie, so it loses the sort of uniqueness that it had. You have anything else to say before I move on to my movies?
Ooh, the Wolf of Wall Street.
I know, Billy, you've seen it, right?
Yup, many times.
Hamza, I
Crazy.
implore you to go back and return to this movie.
Oh yeah,
because
I've been meaning to.
You really should. Okay, I'll start off with Straight Outta Compton. First, this movie has one of my top 5 soundtracks from the year, from the past decade. Uh, I think it's, for me, Guardians of the Galaxy, Straight Outta Compton, Scott Pilgrim versus the World, The Social Network, and then a movie that is in our next list. But it's a movie that has a really nice message. It's I really like biopics, as you can see from 2 of my choices here. It's nice to see the overall character arc of Eazy-E throughout the movie, and just seeing a story that a lot of people do know, just being retold from a different perspective. That's interesting to me. End of Watch. I really like this movie. This is where I feel Jake Gyllenhaal is. I think he had the best acting or acting performances overall in the past decade. He had End of Watch. He had Prisoners. What was the other movie I brought up earlier? Enemy.
Sorry?
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is this the dude from Far From Home?
Yeah,
Okay.
I feel like he's not underrated, but he's a bit underappreciated as an actor, and just his acting skills overall. He also had Nightcrawler. I think that was in this decade, and his performance in that, and just like how insane he seems, from what I've heard, is pretty. It's interesting. Apparently, he's just been playing insane people the whole time. End of Watch is it's a story about 2 cops. The other one was played by Michael Pena, who was in Ant-Man, Ant-Man's friend. What's his name? Luis?
The Mexican dude?
Yeah, the Mexican dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Luis.
Yeah, their character dynamic is one of my favorites from the past decade. They are amazing together. It's a very entertaining watch. I think it's on Netflix. If you guys haven't seen it, you should go check it out. And The Wolf of Wall Street is it's just an epic 3-hour long movie that, at least to me, doesn't get stale at any point. It's really vulgar, but it has comedy, and I am continuously astonished by Martin Scorsese's ability to just produce amazing movies. Compared to, like, when you think about it, when was Taxi Driver came out in the 70s, or was it like 79? And that's when Apocalypse Now came out. But you don't see Francis Ford Coppola out here making amazing movies still. I'm pretty sure he retired like 20 years ago. I just find it really nice to see Martin Scorsese continuously making amazing movies. The Wolf of Wall Street, I think that would have been one of my picks for best, but enough people didn't see it. And I would also say that The Wolf of Wall Street is better than The Irishman, because the length,
Ooh.
it's, Billy, I know you've seen it. Does it feel like a 3-hour long movie to you?
Not at all. It's like you don't get bored at all. So it doesn't ever
bro,
feel like, yeah.
the Quaalude scene, the scene where and Leonardo DiCaprio, there are a lot of big stars that anytime they take on a role, they're just that big star, right? In this role, he embodied Jordan Belfort. It was you couldn't really even see Leonardo DiCaprio in that. Of course, anytime you see DiCaprio, you're like, oh, that's DiCaprio. This is, I think, his best performance of his career. In that Quaalude scene, you remember the scene where he's just drugged and he's just high as heck. Just that scene is.
You talking about the whole movie?
There's the one which one is it? In particular, is the one where when he goes back in the car and he's just. I don't want to ruin anything, because that's one of the better reveals in the movie. Or I think I have it here. I'll just show it to you real quick.
Well, I mean, if you don't want to spoil it, why would you show it?
I'm just gonna show him like a picture of it, so I don't have to. This scene here. Remember this? And let's.
Is that when he crashed?
Oh, I think you kind of spoiled it, but kind of. You remember this part right here? This scene. This is one of my favorite scenes ever. It's just so interesting. It's just so funny. The movie overall just has that general ability to entertain throughout a long stretch.
I like when he got out the helicopter at night.
Wasn't that at the beginning of the movie? That's one of the first things that happens, I think.
Yeah.
And I always thought that that's a part where you would think he starts off with that, and then you'll just make a full circle back to it, like Goodfellas does with the beginning. But except for just going full circle back and then seeing the consequences of his actions, Scorsese does a great job where it's just brought up through the dialogue and through his later actions in the movie, and we never go back to that ever. And it's just really nice that way.
Yeah.
Well, those are our favorite movies. Once again, this was supremely hard to choose. I'm gonna go ahead and scroll down and show all of the movies I had in the running. I had, what is this, like 50 or 60 movies in the running to be in this. And it's just, and when I just think back, and the fact that all of these movies were made in this decade, I find it kind of astonishing.
Who picked The Descendants?
You put this in.
Yes.
Like the Disney Channel movie.
No.
Oh,
Is it?
I'm about to say.
I don't think it is.
This is a Disney Channel movie called The Descendants.
I know.
Yeah.
Actually, there's
Lots of good
a
films.
lot of.
I have an honorable mention.
Yeah, go ahead. Any honorable mentions you guys have, go ahead and say.
I have about 20.
I have so
You know, I can't think of any more because I don't watch movies like that. But I enjoyed Now You See Me, the first one.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Yeah,
It's a good movie.
I think the second one wasn't.
It was alright, but like,
The first
yeah,
one was
alright.
cool.
Yeah, the first one was golden.
I found the entire. Have you guys seen the the rebooted Planet of the Apes trilogy?
Have you ever seen the original?
And
No,
Solo.
no.
You should watch. You guys should watch it.
It's actually pretty good, considering it's like a reboot.
Yeah.
Are you talking about like the 2013 ones?
Yeah, I think 2013, 2015, and 17. They're all really good movies. They are all on equal levels. It doesn't get any worse throughout the entire trilogy.
They're all very intense films.
Yeah. That's where I was saying that I've kind of hated on origin films a lot. I find the first Planet of the Apes one, the rebooted one, I find it very interesting. Just maybe it's because it's a different type of origin where you see an ape becoming freaking genius.
Mm-hmm.
But I find it to be one of the better origin stories of the past decade. And I think that's one of the better trilogies too of the past decade. I'm just gonna run through. I said I came up with movies for each decade. First of all, The Social Network, which is widely regarded as one of the best movies of the decade. I don't want to include that because I don't think a lot of you have seen it, and it'll be kind of cliche to include at this point. Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Inception is next up. It's in the next list. The Fighter is a very underrated movie, I think. And then I'll just say Drive. Those are just some of the movies from the earlier years. Drive is a really underrated, a really hated movie.
Have you like seen the analysis and stuff of Drive? It's really deep.
Yeah. I think I've seen analysis for a lot of the movies. For like anytime nowadays when I finish a movie, I just go ahead and watch an analysis for it. I'm becoming a bit too much of a movie buff. Also, Argo. Argo was
Argo was good.
Yeah.
and also Ted. I like both Ted movies. Just for comedy, I found those to be pretty fun.
Love Ted.
21 Jump Street was also a good
Oh
comedy.
yeah, they didn't make
Yeah.
23 Jump Street.
John Wick, the John Wick trilogy. Those are definitely honorable mentions.
Yes.
Moving over to YTT, Hunt for the Wilder People, and where is my mind gone? Hunt for the Wilder. What We Do in the Shadows.
Jojo Rabbit.
Jojo. That's 2019. Right.
I
It's not
saw
right
Journey.
Oh yeah, it is 2019.
It was
For
different.
me,
Jojo Rabbit was very different than I expected.
oh yeah. Don't spoil it though. Don't spoil it.
You haven't seen it?
Well,
Who
no, I
hasn't
have,
seen
but for the people who haven't, there's a
you guys should watch
pretty
it.
big twist.
Yeah, there's a really good twist. Arrival. Arrival is a
It's-
really
it's
good one too.
Hitler.
And just two directors. First, the Coen brothers, Ballad of Buster Scruggs and Inside Llewyn Davis. Those are also two really good movies. And Paul Thomas Anderson, The Master and Phantom Thread. Those are both great movies that I feel if enough people here saw them, I think they would have made it far overall. Okay.
I've got a few honorable mentions myself. I'm gonna reduce it to one director and like one movie.
Go ahead.
The director is Wes Anderson, right? He made quite a
Moon,
few good movies.
Moonrise
Grand Budapest
Kingdom.
Hotel. I think Fantastic Mr. Fox also.
That's
That was
2009.
in-
I
That's
definitely would have.
2009?
Yeah. A lot of movies just missed out. Both Inglorious Bastards and Fantastic Mr. Fox
Yeah, I
just
looked at
missed out.
Inglourious Bastard.
Yeah.
But yeah, Wes Anderson is good. And then
Moonrise Kingdom.
Edgar Wright's another one, but I'm
Oh,
only going to mention
definitely.
one of his movies. The World's End, I really enjoyed.
Wonderful movie there. Well, yeah, also Baby
Is-
Driver. I don't think we have Baby Driver in the next one, so I would definitely mention that.
No,
one
we
too.
don't.
And,
So yeah, Baby Driver also is a good one.
yeah. All right, so I think this is where this video is going to end. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for watching this part. Our favorite. Come back next week for our ranking of the best.